Last week's Gemini new moon gave you an opportunity to opt in to more joy, more ease, more flow through rewriting the script of your own story and defeating that arch nemesis, the Bowser's Castle level of Mario Kart, which is you. This week, the astrology is presenting you with a cosmic crossroads. Now that you have become aware of those old stories that you've been telling yourself and the new stories you want to write with this one and only life, in this body, at this time, maybe not forever, which path do you want to choose? And how can you allow parts of you that aren't aligned with this new beginning to die? Those parts for some of us could be things that are very physical, like the clothes that you wear, the habits that you have, the way you do your makeup, or the words that you speak. And for others, it could be more internal, the thoughts that you have, the way that you look at yourself, the way that you look at other people. All of these things will be coming into question this week. And if that feels scary or uncomfortable for you, don't worry. I'm going to give you tools and techniques to get through this week so you can swim with the cosmic current instead of against it. Let's go ahead and dive into your weekly AstroWeather forecast for the week of June 15th to the 21st, 2026. What's up, everyone? If you don't know me, I'm the Astro Mama. I am a certified professional astrologer and a board-certified psycho-spiritual life coach. I'm also a real-life mama, and I bring the cosmos down to earth to help ground deep feelers, creatives, and mystics. Most of my life, I spent thinking I was a weirdo, I was an alien, I was the only person who felt the way that I felt, who thought things that I thought, and that was really isolating and alienating, and it made me feel really alone. Astrology for me was a tool to, first of all, get to know myself better and the parts of me that I was scared of, and realizing that they were actually my gifts, my sensitivity, my creativity, my fluidity as a person with a very mutable chart. And it also really helped me deeply understand other people in my world and who they were, their gifts, their uniqueness, and the ways that we were different from each other. And astrology, like us deep feelers, creatives, and mystics, isn't afraid to ask the deeper questions. Who are we? Why are we here? What's going on collectively, which is what we're talking about in this podcast with the AstroWeather forecast. How is my soul evolving over time with the progress chart and the solar return chart? There's so much magic and mysticism in astrology. The biggest thing that I've seen play out in the lives of myself and my clients since 2018 is confidence and grounded embodiment that really, truly only knowing yourself on this deep soul level can bring you. And coming back to terms with the fact your soul chose to be here in this life, in this body, and that's what we're here to uncover today. So that being said, I do readings, I do forecasts, I do events in San Diego. In these forecasts, we take it day by day, transit by transit, so you can swim with the cosmic current instead of against it. We can't necessarily control what's happening in the sky, but we can control the way that we react to it. And I think as sensitive people, we are very in touch with and in tune with what's happening. We need a little bit of context and language so that we can feel more level-headed and hopeful for the future. And when we're feeling level-headed and hopeful for the future, we make different choices in life. When we make different choices in life, our life changes. We end up in healthier relationships. We end up in healthier lifestyles. We end up in a career that feels more fulfilling. And I think when everybody is in their authentic truth and loving and honoring each other for that, that is when our world starts to heal. Let's get into this. Welcome to Monday, June 15th. The moon enters Cancer today at 5:14 a.m. Pacific time. It makes a square to Neptune in Aries, a trine to the North Node in Pisces, and a sextile to Chiron in Aries. With Moon square Neptune, you could be feeling a little foggy, a little emotionally drained, or just extra sensitive. In general, a Cancer moon can inspire us to be more sensitive, and Cancer energy is very responsive. It's very responsive to what it picks up from the people around it, what it's experiencing in its environment, and also that which is happening in the collective. This is Monday has a very sentimental vibe to it. You could be feeling nostalgic or sentimental, You could be craving your creature comforts and the people who feel like home. You could be flipping through old photo albums or scrapbooks or even the photo reel on your phone. All of this can be really beautiful if you are feeling like it brings you closer to your heart, closer to this present moment, closer to your values and what you're working towards. It does become harmful if it becomes a disassociation, if it becomes a distraction. So, with Moon Square Neptune today, I think this could be a really powerful day to almost like set a altar for yourself, set an altar for that past version of you. I went to a retreat once and we brought pictures of ourselves as children and we put them in the middle of the space for the altar and we all got to honor and witness and hold those past versions of ourselves. And I thought that was really beautiful. So maybe that's something that you do today. And in general, just taking this vibe with you around not living so much in the past, but living in the here and now, which is really, really hard to do. But you're also not neglecting the past. You're taking the wisdom, you're taking space as you are ascending on the mountain, as you're climbing to turn around and see how far you've come, but also, obviously, you can't hike up a mountain backwards the whole time. At some point, you are going to need to turn around. That practice or something similar is supported by the moon making a trine to the North Node. And that inspires us to expand into who you are becoming. That is an invitation to tune into what is next for me, not from a place of um, a rat race, but from a place of remembering that each and every moment on this earth, we are co creating with something, and you can be choosing growth, you can be choosing expansion, or you could be choosing fear, dwelling in the past, avoidance. And I am curious with that Gemini new moon this past weekend, what was revealed to you about what you desire, about where you are headed, and how can you bring that into this next chapter as your life is this continual unfolding? And let me know in the comments below if you've had this happen to you. I don't know if other deep feelers, creatives, and mystics have had this, but something that happens to me is when I go through a period that is hard or I feel like I'm imperfect, I wish everything would stop so I could become perfect and then come back to it. And this could be my Mars and Virgo. I'm just going to be honest with you. This is something that I come across a lot. I am a perfectionist and I've been very imperfect lately. We're humans, we're living imperfect lives. My life has been imperfect. I've been imperfect. And yet, I'm so grateful for these beautiful, abundant opportunities that I've been presented lately in the last couple of years around my career and my calling, around being able to study, around friendships and connections and creativity. And I'm truly so fortunate. I have more than I've ever had in my life in so many different areas of it. And yet there's a part of me that feels like I'm really not worthy of it. It's easier to look at how imperfect I am right now and to believe that all the perfect things that are coming in from my life aren't meant for me. They're almost a mistake. They're almost like there was something wrong. They were sent to the wrong person instead of remembering that that came from the years of hard work that I've been pouring into my craft, pouring into my healing journey, pouring into my friendships and connections. I get this feeling sometimes of like, I wish everything would just stop and I could just go to some sort of cabin for 3 months and I could just perfect myself. I could get really thin, maybe, or really toned and change my body. I could change my hair. I could get Botox or braces, and I could go to this intense mental health therapy program that would make me completely confident at all times and completely happy at all times and never stressed and never anxious. And I could apologize to every single person that I've ever hurt in my life and make amends. And I could form connections and be there for my friends more than I have been able to recently. And I could clean my house spotless head to toe. And there's like this long list of things. The truth is, life is always happening. Today, there's a really powerful gift in honoring where you've been and honoring what is coming your way right now, even if you're not perfect yet. And remembering that there will never be a time where every single thing is perfect, ever. So you can't keep living for this desire for things to be more perfect in the future. And also this hyperfixation with the past and only seeing the positive parts of the past and thinking that that was perfect. We've all been there. We look at the pictures of ourselves with the ex, or ourselves on the vacation, or ourselves 10 years younger, 5 years younger, or ourselves in XYZ scenario. And we think, wow, that was amazing. That was the best time of my life. You forget all the fights you got into with that person. You forget how broke you were and stressed you were about money. You forget about how no matter what you looked like, you still didn't like the way that you looked. This is some shadow work, y'all. And if you don't like shadow work, you have to understand that me, the Astro Mama, I'm a Plutonian girl. I have Pluto in my eighth house. We are doing the shadow work here on this corner of the internet. So I might not be the best astrologer for you, but I'm always coming from a place of love for you, love for myself. And I think one of the most healing things that we can do, the most loving things we can do as spiritual beings on a human experience is not only be in the love and light spirituality, but also be comfortable with the darkness and exploring and excavating the darker parts of your psyche where those shadows are and being more comfortable sharing about them with others and ourselves and being more comfortable with the fact that you will never be perfect. It's a work in progress, it's a journey. With the moon sextile Chiron, all of this past, present, future work that we're talking about can prove to be very healing for yourself and others. Could potentially give you a new key to unlock a new door of possibility and synchronicity that wasn't available to you before. Venus in Leo makes a sextile to Uranus in Gemini later today around 3:52 p.m. Pacific time. Let yourself be available for spontaneity, surprises around community, innovation, love, finances. I read somewhere that the universe looks at a penny the same way as it looks at $1,000. You might get an unexpected check in the mail today or an unexpected windfall of money. And you might also just find some pennies on the floor or in your laundry machine. What does it look like to treat that penny or that $1,000 the same and show the universe that you are valuing what it provides for you monetarily? Same thing with love. If you are looking for a lover, a partner, pour into your other connections today. See how you can be the most loving, vibrant version of yourself. You could also just be feeling really creatively inspired today, wanting to express yourself in a way that you don't normally. So do that. Um, Avoid overspending. The only things I would say to worry about today is like avoid overspending, avoid dwelling too much in the past, but also microdose a little bit of wildness to soothe your soul. Because there is a restless undertone to this week. I'm just going to be honest with you all. And when we are feeling too restless, we become these caged animals and then we just go crazy once we have freedom. Let's not do that this week. Let's find time to, I don't know, sleep in one day. I'm having an Olipop in a wine glass. Makes me feel like I'm drinking alcohol. It makes me feel like I'm being bad. Let yourself be a little wild today so that you don't explode later, I guess. Welcome to Tuesday, June 16th. Venus in Leo makes a trine to Neptune in Aries today at 8:40 p.m. Pacific time. This is a lovely time for creative expression, for bonding with your beloved or beloveds, or diving deeper into the waters of your own soul. I, Dr. Astro Mama, I'm going to prescribe to you doing some sort of temple night by yourself or with a partner. That looks like turning off your computer, turning off your phone, dimming the lights, lighting some candles, burning some incense or something, and just being fully intimate. If you're going to do this alone, bring a journal and write a letter to yourself. You can even do some gazing in the mirror. Look at yourself in the eyes and gaze into the windows. More self confident, maybe. And sometimes people say that we're selfish or we're too self centered, but we're not actually self centering, meaning we're not actually getting to know ourselves in this intimate way that so many of us deeply crave being seen by another in. And people cannot see us for the things that we don't see within ourselves. Whether you're single or you're in a relationship, this could be a good night to go into the own waters of your own heart and to really explore who you are, maybe writing a letter of devotion to yourself, to your path, and love and forgiveness and honoring the parts of you that are so lovable. You can also do this with a partner. Let's say you've done a lot of work on yourself already, or you just feel more called, more comfortable to do this with your partner. The two of you can do this together. Maybe you both start at the mirror and you're each looking at yourselves, going through that process we just mentioned. And then you're sharing with each other what you love about each other. You're letting yourselves fully see each other and going beyond the physical of, you're so beautiful or you're so hot or whatever, but you are so wise, you are so vibrant. I don't know what that is for you and that person, but really allowing each other to fully see each other. Into me, I see. And that self intimacy is the foundation, but that relationship intimacy with another is so healing. And we can only do so much healing by ourselves. Maybe you want to do this with a friend. This doesn't have to be romantic. Do it with somebody that you feel safe to be emotionally intimate. The veil is thin tonight. And true self love comes from self knowing. Okay, welcome. Wednesday, June 17th. The moon enters Leo today around 5:05 a.m. Pacific time. It's making conjunctions to Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter, a sextile to Uranus, a trine to Neptune, and an opposition to Pluto, and a square to Chiron. The moons are mooning this week. The moons are making lots of aspects. Generally speaking, when the moon enters Leo, it brings us into this space for 2.5 days of joy, radiance, pleasure, expression. And with moon conjunct Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter, this could be an excellent day for creatives. This is the day to launch the album, launch the song, post the video from your TikTok drops, etc. And also to have a nice, good old fashioned heart to heart and to wear your heart on your sleeve, to speak from your heart. These are the last few days of Gemini season. Gemini energy rules the Vishuddha or the throat chakra. And when your third chakra is open, that is the connection from your heart space and also from your third eye to the world. That is literally how you are making material or bringing content to the bringing context to the content of your inner world. It's so I'm such a talk. I love talking. I love hearing people talk. I love sharing things. I think we came here to express, and the moon in Leo is really asking us to do that, especially because Venus just entered Leo over the weekend. This is that energy of play and radiance and expression. You can blame my Pisces placements if you want, but I've always been a firm believer that the true magic that we all have comes from our hearts, and that's from the pain in our hearts and also the joy. And we all walk around with so much armor, myself included, because we've been hurt in the past. And we project onto people this potential that they could have to hurt us: friends, lovers, colleagues, work partners, clients, coaches, whoever. And yet, deep feelers, creatives, and mystics, what we crave more than literally anything in the world is deep connection. It's spaces where we can let our armor down and we can be ourselves. And also, other people can let their armors down and we can see the magnitude that is them, their uniqueness, their beauty. Um, for deep feelers, creatives, and mystics, deep connections are not optional. They're literally essential nutrients that we need to be able to go out into this hard world as sensitive beings and to remember that we are not alone in this. You can spend your life on your own little soapbox, or you can allow yourself to intermingle with others. One of the shadow sides of being a deep feeler, creative, and mystic is that we can isolate ourselves because we start to tell the story of like, we are so unique. We are so different. Nobody else is like us. Nobody understands. And that's that armor, that's that wounding. But heart space knows that we all have something that we can give and share with one another. We are always stronger together. And there's a lot of beauty that comes from the deep vulnerability of being in connection with other people, whether they are the exact same as you or whether they're polar opposites of you. With moon opposite Pluto and square Chiron, and Venus making opposition to Pluto later today, Your emotions can be feeling really intense within interpersonal relationships. So that's why I want to kind of prime you a little bit before we talked about this around having your heart open, around healing, around being vulnerable, around being seen, around not seeing each other as ops or competition, and instead tuning into the intensity that we have sometimes with others, and remembering that whether you're having intensity within yourself and your finances, intensity within yourself and your own self image, intensity with yourself and another person, the only way out is through. The only way out is through. And there is time and a place for healthy detachment, but try to walk through it first. Try to see what could happen. Um, when feelings are fully felt, they heal more quickly. That's why you can see toddlers have a full on freaking breakdown for like 2 minutes and then they're fine for the rest of the day. As adults, we tend to internalize everything, hide it, numb it, stuff it down, stuff it down, stuff it down, and then we explode. And when we explode, we become very, very destructive to ourselves and others, or we end up with autoimmune diseases, which is a story for another time. So don't get an autoimmune disease and don't blow up your life. Allow yourself instead to feel whatever uncomfortable feeling that you're having. And remember that the only way out is through, and that this will pass. This doesn't have to last forever, but that feeling will stay there until you address it. Welcome to Friday, June 19th. Happy Juneteenth, celebrating the freedom of Black people in our country. I hope that we continue to strive for equality and justice and equity and honoring and celebrating each of us. And I don't see why there should be anybody in the world who is not celebrating today, because that is quite a thing to celebrate. The vibe today for us as a collective is a redemption arc. It's alchemy, it's regeneration, it's rebirth, it's a rebrand, it's defrosting, and there's a lot happening for the astro weather forecast for today. Yesterday's astrology, like we just mentioned, could have been challenging for you. You could have had something really deep or intense come up for you. And today is the inspiration to rise again. Doesn't mean that you're necessarily feeling 100% recovered, but there's like this glimmer of hope available. The moon enters Virgo at 7:37 a.m. Pacific time. It's forming squares to Mars and Uranus, in opposition to the North Node, and trines to Black Moon Lilith and Chiron. In general, when the moon is in Leo, we are ushered into this portal of productivity, being detail oriented. Virgo loves to be of service to others and finds great satisfaction through routine, through devotion, and through dignity. A hard job well done, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. With Moon Square Mars today, be sure to take it easy physically. It's hard because this energy is so beneficial in general to get a workout in, to sweat any unnecessary anger or aggression or triggers that you have, but also not to overdo it. Because sometimes if you overdo it, you can get injured or sick. So finding that balance today of sweating it out, moving your body, moving energy, but not overextending yourself. And also try to postpone any serious conversations today. Like if you notice yourself getting triggered in relationship with others, take a step back. Like, not everything has to be decided upon, discussed today. Moon square Uranus could bring about this feeling of restlessness or not enoughness. Our culture is obsessed with more. We always want more. More money, more time, more beauty, more relationships, more love, more da 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 da. What does it look like to slow down, like literally go outside, touch grass, put your feet on the earth, and recognize what you do have first? I've been really fortunate to never been in extreme situations of poverty. I've always had a roof over my head. I've always had people that loved me. And there have also been times where I was more like just cash broke. I was just paying my bills and that was really all I could do. And I remember some of those moments in my life, I was also the happiest that I had ever been. Or I didn't have a car and I was living with my dad and I was working like 3 jobs. I would like walk all over town to get to where I needed to go. And I would pack up like little bags of raw vegetables. I'd be like sitting at the bus stop, eating carrots and feeling so alive. And the reason why I think is because I was so present. Like I was so present waiting for the bus to come and eating my carrots. I would get to one of my jobs and I would put my phone in the locker and I would just be so present with the customers I was working with at the restaurant, with the tables of clothes I was folding at the clothing store, with the article that I was writing at the newspaper, just being really fully connected to each moment. And it brought this feeling of peace, even though things weren't perfect at the time. I think there was a part of me that knew I was working towards something and that things would alleviate eventually, and they really did, and I'm so grateful for that. And again, I'm so grateful that that was my financial rock bottom, and it wasn't homelessness or anything like that. I'm so grateful that I had people that love me that were able to help me in that time period. I'm not trying to be ungrateful, but trying to bring it back to true luxury, true peace is your mindset. It's not through achieving more. And you hear that all the time. There's so many people who are like super rich and they're super unhappy. And there's this the reminder of like, how do you anchor in and get the most out of where you are right now and enjoy those carrots at the bus stop before you end up with the car and the Chick-fil-A drive-through later in life because you can afford those things. Also, at the same time, if you've been restless for a while, if something just hasn't been feeling right, it could be leading you somewhere. Today isn't the day to burn your whole current life down, but it is the day to sit with your restlessness for a moment and allow it to be a teacher. What is that restless energy presenting to you about who you are and what you want? There can be healing within that exploration. It can be healing to fully witness yourself in the restlessness, your raw, true emotions. With the moon making and trying to Black Moon Lilith and Chiron, there is an opportunity for healing within this exploration. It's healing to fully witness yourself and your true emotions. And there can be medicine in what you're going through that you could bring to others when the time is right. Speaking of healing, the largest transit of this week happens today around 2:18 p.m. Pacific time. And that is Chiron, who is the asteroid and comet. Chiron, the asteroid and comet, begins its journey through Taurus. It'll be moving in and out of it a few times, but the transit officially ends on May 5th, 2034. We are all going to be entering a period of deep exploration through sometimes at time, deep exploration through at times wounding around values, material possessions, food scarcity or resources, mindset, pleasure, and other themes as a collective. This could be a really profound opportunity to explore your values at this time and see if your actions are fully aligned with them. Now, I'm not going to do a deep dive on this. There's an astrologer that I love that did already. That's amazing. Her name is Haley Comet. She shared this excellent deep dive video. I'll link it below of this transit. And she goes over the history of this transit, the other times that we've seen it happen, what was going on, a little bit of a prediction of what we could possibly expect this time around. Also, what to do if you have Chiron in Taurus in your natal chart, and how you can identify the way that this might impact you more personally based on where you have Taurus in your natal chart. I'll link that video below. I think it's an excellent resource by an excellent astrologer, so you should definitely check it out. Welcome to Saturday, June 20th. Today could bring you to a cosmic crossroads with Uranus making a square to the North Node at 12:50 a.m. Pacific time. The energy of today versus when I was channeling this and I was writing and studying the transits, the energy of today reminded me of those old like Pick Your Destiny books. I used to love those when I was a kid and a teenager, where it'll say this situation happened. What do you want to do? And you're the character, and it says flip to page 5 if you want to do this. Flip to page 8 if you want to do this, and then it takes you through this story. And there's so many possibilities available to you in this life, to all of us, and in those stories. A healer and a friend of mine, Christia Ray, I just took a circle from her this weekend. She said that believing in and living by synchronicity opens you up to possibilities you couldn't even perceive before, and those possibilities are tenfold. Perhaps today is the day to fully step into synchronicity, into the magic of what is possible, and staying open to your destiny and understanding that it might not even be fully aware right now. So, like, while you're flipping through those destiny books, while you're flipping through those Pick a Destiny books, you don't know what the end is going to be. You're just taking it chapter by chapter, moment by moment, and the story is piecing itself together through the choices that you make, those micro choices that you make on each page or in each chapter. And those choices are what bring you to your divine destiny. how can you bring that analogy into your waking life and understand that being open to what's possible is amazing. Even if you don't know, even if you don't like all your choices. Like even if you have 5 choices and you're like, I don't like any of these, pick the best one right now. And through doing that, picking the best choice right now and being open to synchronicity, more choices will reveal themselves to you. Isn't that exciting? Lastly, welcome to June 21st. Happy summer solstice. Cancer season begins today, which invites us to flow with our intuition, divine feminine or yin energy, and creativity. Shortly after the sun enters Cancer, it forms a sextile with Chiron at 2:47 a.m. Pacific time, offering an opportunity for profound healing. I have a strong feeling that some of you might be healing your witch wound right now, that fear of practicing your spirituality, of tapping into your intuition or your divine feminine energy. There could have been instances this week that highlighted parts of you that need tender love and care. With the moon entering Libra at 1:55 p.m. today, the atmosphere is ripe to bring harmony and beauty to yourself and to others as you integrate the restlessness and the choices made from this week and the long journey that you've been on. I feel like there's a lot happening astrologically this week. Maybe you can spend this afternoon communing in nature, doing a beauty ritual, or spending time with those you love. With Moon trine Mars and sextile Jupiter today, you could be feeling passionate and inspired as the day goes on. Maybe you're feeling ready to move in stride towards your desired path. With Moon trine Uranus and Pluto, that choice that you made in your Pick Your Destiny book, it could be surprising you. However, because the moon is opposite Neptune and making a square to Black Moon Lilith, just remember that you don't have to do it all immediately. The caterpillar does not become a butterfly overnight. That actually, if anything, too much change too quickly can really shock the nervous system. You want to titrate change in a sense of a little bit here, breathe it in, steps are made, digest, integrate, up level, next change happens. Take that step, digest it, integrate it. This is how long lasting change can happen over time. It's one step at a time. That's your Astro Weather forecast for the week. Thank you all for listening. Again, I'm the Astro Mama. I bring the cosmos down to earth to ground deep feelers, creatives, and mystics. It would be an honor to continue journeying together. If you liked this video, please like, share, subscribe it. It really helps grow the channel and bring this astrological knowledge out to as many people as possible. And if you want to go deeper with me, you can book a reading. The link to book is below. That's how you'll understand a little bit more of what is going on in the sky right now. How is it impacting you on a personal level? And also, what is your natal contract? What is your soul contract, your soul destiny? What were the choices that you made before you came to Earth around your gifts, your talents, and your weaknesses? And how can you swim with the cosmic current instead of against it? Okay, I'll see you all next week. Much love. Bye.